Hey guys, Michelle from Michelle's Craft Corner here, and I've got another awesome card tutorial to share with you. Here we go. It is a pop and twist card, titled because of that unique twist and pop action inside. A special thanks to fellow Stampin' Up! Demonstrator Sherry Brown for giving me the instructions and teaching me how to do this awesome card. So let's get started. So here's a close-up of that card that we're going to make today. You guys ready? Here we go. Here's the pop-up. Boom. Isn't that so awesome? Such a statement card to give anybody for their birthday. And I love the combination of the beautiful U and the paper piecing with this set. So used quite a few things with this one, but I'm going to walk you through step by step and we will do this together. Okay, ready? So first off, let's start with our front. We of course are going to be using the wonderful Beautiful You stamp set today, which is just an awesome one. You can do so much with this one, and I'm going to be using the wood mount in this video, but it's also available in clear as well. We are also going to be using a couple of punches, the Balloon Bouquet Punch, which is just a really good one to have, and then also the 2-inch circle punch. And we're going to be using the smaller of the two balloons just because it looks a little better with the size of the lady. And paper colors, we of course are going to be using our featured color of the day, which is the Berry Burst, one of the new in colors. I even got my nails kind of a berry color, which is such a wonderful color. So of course we've got our cardstock in that Berry Burst. And we are also going to be using the new Fresh Florals Designer Series paper. Now this is a huge stack of 12 by 12. Comes with 40 sheets, 4 each of 2 different double-sided designs. So this is just a sampling. We're going to be focusing on these today, but you can do this card with any of these other wonderful, beautiful colors, and or any other Stampin' Up! Paper as well. So I just want to give you a quick glimpse at the others in that pack. Great, great set. All right, moving on. Of course, we're going to be using some good old basic black for our stamping. We're also going to be using the Berry Burst ink just to accent the inside. Now, to do our fun happy birthday that's on this center, we're going to be using the Happy Birthday Thinlits. Now, this is a really nice Thinlit. You can do a lot of really quick birthday cards with this one. Of course, definitely recommend the magnetic platform for the Thinlits, the Big Shot, of course, and the die brush. It'll really just save you so much time on anything that's got tiny pieces to pop out. So there's that one. Moving down my list. Oh, did I mention Whisper White paper? Where's my note? There it is. Okay. Also need the Whisper White cardstock as well. And we're going to use a couple different accessories today. Definitely going to need your bone folder for this one. This makes really crisp edges, and when you're doing something that's got that pop-up fold, we really are going to be using that bone folder. You're going to need that. We're also going to be using the Tear and Tape adhesive. This is one I haven't used in a video thus far, but it is really great for this particular project, and you'll see why a little later. We're also going to be needing our paper snips today. We're going to be paper piecing some of those dresses on, so you need that fine tip. And then, of course, our multi-purpose liquid glue. Okay, you guys got all of that? No, it was quite a few things today. This out of the way. Okay, so let's hit you with some measurements here. So first off, we've got our Berry Burst cardstock base. Now this is going to be cut at 11 inches by 4 inches and scored in the middle at 5.5. Stack Post-it note there. Okay. You're also going to be needing another piece of Whisper White. Don't worry about the folds yet. We will get to those in a minute. But you want to have it cut at 3.5 by 8. This is for the inside mechanism. And you're going to need another piece of Whisper White, and this is also cut at 10 by 3.5. Okay. Move this off to the side here. We've got a couple. I know some people like to have everything pre-cut and ready to go, so I'm just trying to show you all the measurements quickly first off. So for our inside lining, you're going to need a piece in that wonderful Designer Series paper, 10.5 by 3 3/4, and that's scored at 5 1/4. And we're going to need a piece for the front panel. I'm going to be using the other side, but at 5 1/4 by 3 3/4. And then for our front border, I have a piece at 3 by 3.5. And then also to stamp her on. Wait a minute, that doesn't look right. Oh, nope, sorry. That is for something else. These are the front ones. There we go. 4 by 2 3/4 and 2.5 by, you can get that in there, there we go. So that's for the front. I was thinking that looked a little small. And then this one is for the inside pop-up panel right there. And then these two, which we will definitely run through all of these as we do them in the project, are for the inside for the happy birthday. That's what was throwing me off. Okay, so I know I hit you with a lot of measurements. I'll give you a quick screenshot there. But we will work through this together and don't stress. Okay, so let's pick these up, and we're going to start with our front, of course. So we've got our front panel. We have the card in the shot there. There we go. So we've got our front panel. We've got our white and our 2 color pieces, and those are those measurements yet again. So we're going to go ahead and pull out our Beautiful You stamp set, and this is that lovely lady with the hat. Quick, there. And then also our basic black archival ink. Now what we're going to do is first off stamp her. Actually, let me take the Post-it note off. Basic black. We're going to stamp her on the white. Now you want to stamp it towards the bottom so you have some room for those balloons as well. So very quick and easy. Just like that. Oh, her foot went off a little, but I think it'll be okay. And then you're also going to want to stamp her again in either a scrap of the Berry Burst, or you could also cut out the center of this that she's about to be mounted on and do that as well. Just for the video, this will be a little faster. So this is just a scrap. We're going to stamp her again. Now, for those that may be familiar with paper piecing, you may know where I'm going with this. Just do the first one on the front so you have an idea. Okay, so now we've got her stamped twice. Put the black away. Put the stamp up there. Okay, so next thing we're going to take is our paper snips. Right there. And we're going to cut out the dress. Now when you cut out the dress, you don't want to go too far in the black line. You don't want to have like a white edge. And what I like to do is I always kind of consider this as part of like her underskirt, like she has a slip-on or something, so I don't necessarily cut that part out, but you can if you want. It's just a different look. And one other thing that I did for this one is I gave her sleeves. So just depending on how far you cut the arm out will be how far those sleeves are. And you can of course go sleeveless if you'd rather not. But lots of different options when paper piecing. So I'll just cut this out real quick. So there you have our lady, her clothes all cut out. So what you're going to do is just layer it right on top. We're going to glue it right on top with our multi-purpose glue. If you don't have the multi-purpose glue handy, you can also use the snail as well. I'm just going to line it right on top. There we go. She's got her dress on, which I think just looks so sharp. And of course you could do any of the other colors as well, or the Designer Series paper if you prefer. So next thing, let's go ahead and put the front of our card a little together before we do our balloon. So yet again, that's that card base at 11 by 4, scored in the center at 5.5. Put it down right there. Fold it in half. I got my bone folder handy. I'll just hit it with the bone folder, give it a nice crease. You can never have too many sharp creases. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and stick our front piece on just to give that nice little berry border. And if you prefer the other side, you could definitely do that instead. And then I'm going to go ahead and stick that border on for her as well. Just like that. So you can see how it's coming together pretty quick and simple so far. And this would be just a really nice card just by itself, really. You could definitely put some dimensionals on here if you prefer to make her pop a little. Since it's already going to be a little bit of a thick card because it is the pop and twist style, I would discourage too many dimensionals on the front, just especially if you're mailing it. Okay, so now we've got that basic down. We're going to go ahead and pull out our balloon punch. Let me move some of my Post-it notes out of the way here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take my balloon punch. Now for this one, I did a little piece of that Designer Series paper and the Berry Burst paper as well. And this is a little bit of the powder pink. But I think for this card, we're going to have both of them in the Berry Burst. I ended up not using any other powder pink on this card, so it didn't end up looking as good with my sample here. So there's just a little scrap. You guys know the trick with these punches. If you have just a little piece that you're trying to punch, you can flip it over and slide that paper in and just get it exactly where you want it. So I'm punching out 2 of those with just this little scrap. So there's our 2 Berry Burst balloons. Right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab just a little scrap. Where is he? Right here. Of that wonderful floral, Fresh Florals paper. And punch out another balloon. So you can see exactly what's going to be in my balloon just by how I line it up. a little of that flour in there. Go. So you can see there's our balloons. And you do want to kind of line them up a little bit before gluing them down, just to be sure that you have them where you want. And I also recommend too, you've got the little ends of the balloons. If you want to do the lines for her holding the strings, you do need to have them where you can see them, because if you line them all on top of each other, it'll look a little strange, the string coming from nowhere. But it's your card, you can do it however you want. So I'm going to start with the ones in the back and kind of stick them up a little higher. It's like that. And then I've got my last one in the center, and I'm going to just throw one dimensional under it real quick. Just gives it a little bit of a pop, not too much. Just the one that's on the top. Just like that. You guys see that? Hopefully it's not getting too dark in here. Okay. So next thing is to draw the strings. Now you could do this with just any pen, but the Stampin' Up! Journaling pens are definitely going to be the easiest, or just any really fine tip. Where is mine? Oh. Okay. Any just really fine tip marker that's got that really tiny point is what's going to make it the easiest. I don't think you can see that, but it's there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just draw a little line across the end of the balloon and then just draw a string. And when I draw the strings, I want it to look like she's holding it. So I'm just making sure that all the lines cross her hand and then kind of swirl however. So I'll just draw a little line across, across. If you want, you could definitely do like baker's twine or something else. I've just found that this is just a little faster. There we go. So she's holding the balloons. Ta-da! So it could be cleaner. Actually, I'm going to draw a little bit of her arm right there. There we go. Alright, so now we're moving on to the inside. Work on the next step. So the front wasn't too bad. So first off, for the inside, we're going to do our inside lining. So we're going to pop that out right there so you can see it as we work. So this inside lining is yet again cut at that 10.5 by 3 3/4 and scored in the center at 5 1/4, and that'll leave a little bit of a border on each side. Okay, so we're going to start by gluing that down real quick. Fold it in half. You do want to make sure that when you glue this, it's flush to the crease. So I recommend doing one side at a time. So I'm just going to stick it right in there. Press. Sorry if I'm shaking the camera a little bit. There we go. Fold it down. Another little press. With that liquid glue, you have a little bit of a wiggle time if you do need to make sure it's all lined up good. So there we go. So we've got that little edge on the top and the bottom. But yes, do make sure that it does close good with that lining. And you don't have to have the lining in it if you don't want. All right, so next step, we're going to go ahead and cut out the birthday thinlet. And that, yet again, is in that wonderful Berry Burst pink, using the magnetic platform sandwich and the die brush. So I've got that good to go. And then I'm also going to go ahead and do this top part, real quick, because that's the least confusing of this next part. That yet again is cut at 3 1/4 by 2 3/4. And then this one, which I apologize, a little hard to read, is 3 inches by 3 1/2 for that little border. So we're just going to go ahead and glue that part real quick. I know everybody's eager to see the twist and pop mechanic. There we go. So there's just that. And then to do my little framelit, you don't have to glue the whole thing, just kind of hit some of the bigger spots, a few dots here and there, and it should be good. But just be sure to hit the bottom and the top of the die. Nice thing is if you're a little messy, it dries clear, so. Okay, flip him and just kind of stick him. It is a snug fit, but I think it looks nice that way. So there we go. There's our happy birthday. Now don't glue it down yet. You may be tempted to. We want to make sure that our twist and pop mechanic in the center works first. So I'm just getting that done and out of the way. Okay, so now moving on to our next step. Oop, oh, dropping things. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and cut these two pieces. Okay, so after you have them cut, we're going to go ahead and score. Actually, well, yeah, you can go ahead and score. So this one is at 2 1/2, 5, and 7 1/2. Using, of course, my awesome Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer, which is so good because you can cut and score all in the same go. Because it's got both the cutting blade and the scoring blade. So, fabulous tool. Love this. Okay. So, we're going to put this one to the side for now. We're going to get back to it in a second. So we've got this cut at 3 1/2 by 8 inches. I'm going to flip it over. Oh, this is not the one with the measurements. This one is. Okay. Alright. So what we're going to do is take this one now and score it. So we're going to score it at 2 1/4 and 5 3/4. Just on our Stampin' trimmer. And then we're going to turn it and score it at 1 3/4. So don't worry about the crisscross yet, but you're just going to score it at 2 1/4, 5 3/4, and then turn and score it at 1 3/4, just like that. I traced the lines so you could see them because for this step it will be easier if you can see the lines. Now also, after you have those basic lines scored, what I did is I stuck it in my Stampin' trimmer. Now you're going to score, not cut, but score from this corner to this corner and this corner to this corner. What makes it easier to do is if you trace these two lines, then you can use those as guides when sticking it in your paper trimmer to make sure you're getting from point to point, if that makes sense. So with, well, actually I'll do it in this one. Move this out of the way. So if I've got these lines scored, then I can stick it in my paper trimmer. I'm sure this is in the shot. And line up that top of that score line, the bottom of the score line. And if you go ahead and trace these two lines, it does make it easier to line up. If you do it in pencil, you can erase it. If the line's going to bother you, it won't show up that much. So alright, so now you've got all of this cut, you've got it scored, you've got the nice crisscross going on. Now you may pay attention to the do not fold right here, these two vertical lines. You do not fold these at all, okay? So you're going to take your piece, then you've got it all cut and folded, and you're going to fold along with me. So we're going to fold it in half, just across that center line, just like that. So right across like that. Then we're going to take it and fold it the other way. Across that other. So we're basically folding each side of that X. Fold it one way and folding it the other way. Okay. And then we're also going to fold it straight down that middle line. Now, what I definitely recommend for this part is use your bone folder. Do not spare the bone folder in going over those creases just to make sure that they are nice and sharp. You can do them a couple times. Trust me, this will make the following step way easier if you have those creases nice and crisp. All right, okay. So now you have all of those nice and scored, and you did not fold that line or that line, correct? Okay, so now this is going to be the slightly tricky part, but I know you guys can handle it. Okay, so you have it thoroughly scored. You're going to take your fingers on either end of this, you see this square in the center, and if they're thoroughly scored, this should fold pretty easily. You're going to kind of squeeze those two corners together, and it's going to fold this kind of little house triangle. So yet again, corner, corner, squeeze, fold. Okay, once you get it to this, we of course are going to take our bone folder and crease liberally. Definitely want to make sure that point is on there really good. Okay, so one more time, got it like this. Take and squeeze, fold it, just like that. Okay, so that is going to be our pop-up mechanic, just like that. All right, so now for the next step. So we're going to take this and our shape, our little house, and you're going to line it up. Just yet again make sure that you folded it correctly. You've got a little bit of edge, and that point is going to be right at the edge of the crease. We're going to take our tear and tape adhesive. Why is it called tear and tape adhesive, Michelle? Because you can tear it by hand, which is just so handy when you're doing a lot of projects. You can just take it and rip, and you're good to go. You don't have to deal with scissors or worry about your scissors getting adhesive on them, which is really nice. So I'm basically going to do a little triangle of the tear and tape on each of those little sides, just like that. Then I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. So both of these triangles have the tear and tape adhesive on each of the sides. See look how fast that is. You just tear it and go. This is really good for like box projects or envelopes. Just a little bit sturdier tape. Okay, so now you've got your tape on both sides. We're going to take the backing off of one of the sides, just one, doesn't really matter which one. Nails here. Okay, and the side that you took off the adhesive is going to be facing down. And we're going to line it up yet again like we just checked. The point in the center, right on that edge of the crease. And give it a good press down. And then we're going to take the adhesive off the top side. Let's take those little strips right off. And close the card. Oh, did I put it too close? I might have put it too close. Okay, close the card right on top. Give it a little press. When you open it, it should pop up just like that. So that is the base for our Pop and Twist Mechanic. I guess mine's going to have some words on the back. Hopefully whoever gets it won't notice, right? Anyway, so there's the Pop right there. So now we're going to go back to our piece that we had done before, this one right here. Move my markers off to the side here. Post-it notes. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and fold these. So we're going to fold the whole thing in half right on that 5-inch mark, just like that. Folding down. And then we're going to fold each side up. So up and up. So when you're done, it should look like that. Just kind of like a nice W for the win. Just like that. Okay. Now, thankfully, I have one that doesn't have measurements on it, so that will look better on the final card. So yet again, just like that. Okay. So next thing is I'm going to go ahead and grab my little piece for the inside panel. Now, if you want, you could do panels on all of the insides if you would like, just the one. But the measurement's the same. It's 2 1/4 by 3 1/4, and it just gives it that nice little white edge all the way around. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue that real quick. And then let's go ahead and do our sentiment real quick as well. Now this was using the 2-inch circle punch and the Happy Birthday Gorgeous sentiment, which is from that same set, which is just a really nice thing to say to somebody. You know, we've got someone with great fashion taste. And of course I wanted to stamp it yet again in that wonderful Berry Burst ink, which is just such a pretty color. I mean, don't you guys just love this? Okay. I'll just use the scrap from this one since it's... So we're just going to stamp it on a scrap of white. Quick and easy. Take our punch, pop it open, flip it around, and then you want to just slide it in there. I'm gonna line it up and punch it out. And we have our Happy Birthday Gorgeous. Very, very simple. Now next thing is we want to go ahead and finish the rest of this panel. Now it's going to be the same way as we did the front, doing the paper piecing the ladies' dresses. So yet again, I'm going to grab out that black archival ink. Some of these off to the side here. And grabbing my lovely ladies from this set out, ready to go. Now, since I already did basically the same thing for the front, I'm going to kind of speed up this section so you can still see me do it, but if you're already familiar with the paper piecing, you don't necessarily have to watch me slowly cut and paste again. So, here we go. So there you have the ladies all paper pieced and put together, and of course yours will look a little differently depending on where on the Design Series paper you stamp, such as this one with this pattern, but they all look very gorgeous. Okay, so now that you've got this step, now we can put it together to do the fun pop-up effect. Now you'll notice on here, I'm going to turn it to the side so you can see. So we're going to add adhesive just to this top part on the right hand side and just to the bottom part on the left hand side. So we're not doing the whole panel. This allows the free twist action. But yet again, we'll walk through it step by step, but I wanted you to kind of see from the side first. So we're going to get that handy dandy tear and tape yet again, and go ahead and grab a piece. Now you'll still have that score from before. Now that, which is a line you can't really see, let's grab a pencil here. See if that helps. There we go. There you go. So there's the line from my score mark. Now you don't want to put any adhesive past that score line on both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and put some tape on there. Now you do want to do a couple strips just because you want it to be sure that it holds really well. Just like that. And then we're also going to put adhesive on this corner one as well. No, it's white on white. It might be a little hard to see. Hopefully you guys can see that. All right, so I'm going to take my card, fold it up here. So we're going to put, hold it up a little higher. Okay, so we're going to put this corner to this corner. Actually, that is incorrect. We're going to put this corner, where the crease is, to this crease. So crease to crease. It's going to be a little bigger than the underlying piece. It's going to stick out a little bit. That's okay. It's designed to do that. Don't stress. And yes, it will be hanging off on the bottom. Hopefully not losing anybody. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just take off, and we're just doing one side at a time. Trust me, it is way easier to do one side at a time. Take that off. Okay. So we've got our accordion fold. So that crease lined up with that crease just along the top. Give it a good press. Okay. You can see it's kind of folded out like that. Then we're going to go over to this other side and take the tape off. Okay. We're going to take this piece, and keep in mind that crease again, don't pass the crease. We're going to do the edge of this accordion piece right here to the edge right here. And yes, it will overlap this edge, so don't stress. So just line her up best you can. Oh, try not to stick your finger in here. That was a bad call. Okay. Nope. Okay, doing this in the air is not recommended. Oh, I got it crooked. Hold on. See, I mess up too. All good. Okay. Let's stick another piece on there real quick. Alright, so I'm just going to do this on the table because it'll be easier. Okay, so corner and edge to edge. There we go. Give it a good press. Check your lines. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and test close it. Now, first couple times you want to kind of help it because it's going to be not used to it, so we're just going to kind of give it a little gentle push and squeeze and twist and kind of help it go down. Grab that bone folder out. Now, because we've got the balloons on this side, it's easier if you flip it to the back and just give it a good crease down. You want to be sure that those creases are nice and crisp. It will really make it work better. Okay, so let me try it. Open, and it should do that twist and pop. Right. And then, of course, you don't want to forget our fun happy birthday. Now, I saved this for last just because if there were any issues with where you lined up your center panel, you may want to adjust where you put the happy birthday. I also kind of really liked putting it a little off to the side. I thought it gave it a little more fun, but you could also stick it on the bottom as well if you prefer, just wherever. And stick a little glue on that one. You could also throw some balloons on the inside if you want to use that balloon punch again, which is such a fun punch. Here we go, just little like that. All right, and there you have it. That is our twist and pop. So we go. Slide it back down. There's our front and pop. So I hope you guys enjoyed this card. Hope it inspires you to make lots of fun twist and pop cards. Yet again, a special shout out and thank you to fellow Stampin' Up! Demonstrator Sherry Brown for giving me her tutorial on this one. Saved me a little time. If you do like my videos, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will catch you next week with a new video. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.